we're live. We're good. We're all set. This is it.
Hey!
I gotta find a smoother transition button. Something that I gotta figure out a way to make that
You gotta
better.
like.
But
fade
hello,
out.
everybody. I did fade out. We're good. God. Oh.
God, what do you think I am?
Oh.
Amateur.
And there you go.
Welcome to Stitch and Bitch, a weekly show from the Natural One.
No, go for it. Go for it, buddy.
You
know what? Oh, crap. There we go. All right. The video source wasn't minimizing, so there's probably a good first 15, 20 seconds of that was not you guys' faces.
That's fine.
Cool. It's just
they missed my scissor glasses.
Yeah, that's okay. I feel like everybody should miss your scissor glasses, to be honest, man. Like that's a dangerous
nightmares.
Yeah.
It's too powerful.
Yeah. I have to okay. Anyway, this is Stitch and Bitch. This is where we talk about all things. Mainly the two things that we talk about the most are kinks and Ducktales. Those are kind of like those are the two big. Obviously, that's the only reason I wanted this show to exist, was so that we had
Kinks and Ducktales.
Kinks and Ducktales. Kinks and Ducks.
Ducktales are my kinks.
Kinks and tails. Kinks and tails and kinks and tails and kinks and tails and kinks and tails.
It's the new way to decide who goes first in sports. Kinks or tails.
Mm.
If it lands on heads, you have to tell them your kink. Get the ball.
Well, if you don't, it's entrapping.
And
I love traps.
This is the only way that I will like sports. If they play kinks or tails.
I do gotta say this show is mine and my fiance Ame's just most favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
We sit down and watch. Anyone in the chat who's returning will remember that we've been in the chat before.
Also, hi, chat.
But and that sounds like something you say when you're going on a show that isn't being hosted by your friends and fellow people playing in your actual game, but it's also true. So,
I mean, they don't have to know that. They haven't seen us on screen countless times together.
Yeah,
we don't know.
They might have, but they can if they would like to.
They can.
Every Wednesday.
Twitch.tv/natural_ones_.
Hey, we got Mace.
This is my project for today, and it's Miles' character. Leo Hammerfist.
Delightful, and that's somewhat related to my project. The craft that I generally do, that people that the group knows that I do, is I like to make boxes. So I brought some examples to show off.
Cool shit, yeah.
Like this one I made. This was made out of a box of cards. I had to add stuff to it for to get the clasp to fit. Wow, I haven't opened this in a while.
Yeah, it's a little
the
sticky.
clasp to go in.
It makes
so I
such
do a lot of this
satisfying noise when you handle it.
Yeah.
Like nails against Mod Podge.
It's got a deck of cards in there, but wait, there's more, because that deck of cards is a secret compartment for
another deck of cards.
For definitely not drugs.
What I can tell you is there aren't drugs in this one that I have right now, as you can see.
Is that a disappointment? Is that like, I wish I had drugs?
No, I just don't know if there's cops watching. So, I'm just saying if you guys at home had one.
It would be hypothetically
for you.
Yeah, it would hypothetically be a really good place to hypothetically put two joints, a box of matches, and a lighter. But that's also just hypothetically.
I also love the idea. I would love a new show. We have to think about that for our stream. It's called Cop Watch. So it's Cop Watch. It's where we, you know how they have speed traps, or they'll have stakeouts. Our Cop Watch show is us watching cops in stakeouts or in speed traps.
And we're just like, look.
Yeah. And it'll be a commentary of how good they're doing in their speed trap.
We had some police activity last week. Police and fireman activity when there was a tree.
Mace is asking you. Mace asks you, Miles. By the way, can I get one of those? The card boxes, but it's the instructions Joker card instead of the jack on the bottom that you have. Yeah,
that should be possible. for this one, this is the first time I had ever like cut out a deck of cards like that. So I just got whatever card. Like I got to the jack, and I'm like, it's deep enough. I'm tired of cutting cards. But yeah, 100% you could.
It's deep enough. Fuck these cards. I also have a Miles Newvrith original, but it's a different mechanism. Check this shit out. It looks like a raven skull because I am a raven in the game, and you just slide this bitch, and then I froze.
But that's okay.
But it has tarot cards inside.
Yes. Yeah.
There's tarot cards. And somehow it doesn't help my Wi-Fi be less terrible. But you know, maybe it made it more terrible. Maybe it happened right when I opened the box. And I have not talked to my cards in a little while. So like maybe they're like, bitch.
Yeah, that's mine. I haven't spoken to mine. I got a mini deck in there in here. I also make it out of books. This was a book. Was this Moby Dick? This might have been Moby Dick.
It is now.
And it's got I have a place to like slot in a collapsible dice tower I built. I use that every week on the natural ones. So yeah, I do that. That's what I do. I can't build a box the entire time that we're starting, and I have a bunch more. And they have needlessly complicated clasps like mazes, but
they're awesome. They're super fun.
I thought today I would build a like a prop piece out of cardboard, and I thought that I would try and make Liam's eye patch. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying to throw that together. I don't know how far I'll get while we're playing here, but
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing. If I hadn't had to be, I need a second monitor because I need to be able to watch chat while we have this going and not have. Yeah, I do have it up there. That's my point. Is that I would like to use my iPad to draw, but I can't because I don't have a second monitor. So,
right.
Because I just found this really fucking sweet brush that it's like exactly what I've been hunting for a long time, in terms of digital painting. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. It like fits my style exactly the way I want it to.
I love that.
Very
I love
that for you.
So, I guess the most appropriate way to start this, the only way to start this, mainly just because I know that if I let it go on for too long, the folks at home will be disappointed. It's because it's the most important question of the entirety of this show, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the only thing. It's the only thing that really matters at the end of the day.
The most serious.
DuckTales, have you watched it?
Yeah.
Damn it! I thought it was Kank. Yeah, fuck.
All of
it. Right.
Yeah. Well, everything that I got very legally from not illegal Tyler sources.
Right.
Because it's actually no. I actually watched some of it there, and then I watched it actually legally because I have Disney Plus. That I also definitely stole from Tyler.
I might be the only reason you watch TV. That's not YouTube. That's not like paint nails videos.
Listen, Simply Nailogical is an icon.
It was not a complaint. It was more of
the quarantine. Did you watch her exploding nail?
Where she put it on? Where she put it on Ben's nails?
Yeah, and she like used it, and it bleh, like it's just. Bleh.
And she's like, "Oh hey, I grew up working in car mechanic shops, and we used like paint removal things on cars, and it smelled exactly like this, and it did what this does."
Airplane. It was airplane paint stripper.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, DuckTales, big fan, loved it. Throwing things around, love that too. I'm good at that.
Should we? Is that a call for help? Right? Is that like our duty of care towards Ame? Right? Like...
Yeah, you're just throwing scissors around.
No, that was me.
I was like, do you have a box cutter?
So like, so Miles, I guess there's some things that like I know some of these answers. You and I have a pretty good rapport of like talking about Liam or just talking about the games in general. Her mission has begun. Good. It was in the chat. I didn't want to spoil it.
V-clap. Thank you.
Did she throw you? Did she throw you scrunchies?
Yeah. There you go. Now I'm ready.
There you go. Now you're prepped. Gotta do a teeny tiny ponytail with your little buzz cut. Get like a teeny tiny one.
I'll Ame brush her hair, and I'll take all the hair that comes out, and I'll put that in a scrunchie on top of my head.
I thought I was dying the other day in the shower because I didn't wash my hair for 2 days, and I kid you not, like one of those, you know that scene in like a lot of in like some movies, or like I guess it's like a movie trope, woman crying in the shower, like pulling out hair. Like that was me. Like it was just like handfuls of hair, and I was like, "This is it. This is the time."
I've only really seen that in a few.
There's like a couple though. I can't pinpoint it, but
the only one that ever comes to
mind.
The only one that comes to mind is The Craft, which is a really awesome movie.
True,
but like
I fucking love The Craft.
It
shocked.
It makes no sense.
Me?
Yeah.
Of all people.
So Miles, what inspired you to even start making the puzzle boxes, I should say, like, or just the boxes in general?
Yeah, I mean, so actually, the first I started learning tarot, and I was taking extensive notes on tarot, and eventually, my notebook was lame, and I'm like, I need to make this look cool. So I looked up some YouTube stuff, and I thought that would function, and I found basically this super simple thing. You take a blank notebook, you use hot glue to put designs on, you Mod Podge paper towels onto it for like texture, then you paint it and Mod Podge it again. I did that. I liked how it turned out. I'm like, that's sweet. I should make a box for my tarot cards. And I'm like, cool, I'll do that. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, but how hard would it be to make like a clasp that you would put in and turn to lock and then turn back and pull it to unlock? And that's this box, because I started drawing up designs for it, and then I couldn't not do it. So this guy you put in there and you turn it, and I did that successfully. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm an addict now. And then came this guy, and then came this guy.
Do you find that happened? Like, I feel like this is the Miles Newverth story. Is like, I'd like to try this out, and then it becomes, I'm an addict of this thing because it worked so well, or like it hit a button in your brain.
It's not hugely uncommon in attention deficit disorder to like hyper focus on things in that manner.
Sure.
But
I don't care about other people with that disorder. I only care about you. So like,
I appreciate that. But yeah, boy. So yeah, but no, I do that. I mean, a similar thing happened with pixel art, and that's another attack.
Is the
if
same?
It works, oh god. Is it the same
so
one?
Cute.
Is it the same one?
You look like Frida Kahlo. But I do have a question. Is like your like that thing, like the hyper focus that you do, like when you find a new thing and you're like, I must make it. Is that like sort of the driving force behind you like picking Liam? Like, did you start off with Liam being like, well, I wanted to personify the part of me that tinkers, or was it just like a happy accident?
Not at all. And the thing, I mean, a part of me forgets how long we've been streaming. Was I an artificer by the time we started streaming, Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, so think for the folks at home that don't know this, Liam started out as an Eldritch Knight fighter. Originally, I thought fighter with magic is cool, but the coolest thing was bonding to your weapons. So you could throw them and have them come back. I'm like, cool, I love hammers. I'm going to make someone with hammers, and I'll throw them, and they'll warp back to his hand. And then at some point, the Unearthed Arcana, I believe, for Artificer came out. Like,
yep.
Yep. And Tyler approached me and was like, look at this. And I did, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I could like multi-class.
Well, it was also something, but like, and the reason I had brought it up too was because it had been something that we had been discussing for a little while. about Liam in general was just like the desire to build stuff. And I was like, yeah, the game certainly has the capacity for that. Like, your character is built to be able to try to do that. So it's like it wasn't a stretch of the imagination. And then when the Artificer came out, it was like, this I think is going to fit what your character concept is a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, and so at my first thought was I could multi-class into this because I didn't know. I knew we were planning on streaming, and I didn't know how like reclassing my character mid-campaign. I didn't know how like Tyler would feel about that, but he was like, "No, you should just do this." And I'm like, "Okay." So I did. So like when I started, Liam wasn't supposed to be just me again, but as I went, like that's the stuff I was interested in is the stuff I was interested in doing with Liam. So
right.
He slowly became like. I think the biggest draw of it to me was Artificer seemed really interesting, but it seemed like the coolest place also to if we were going to like make homebrew systems for things. An Artificer seemed like a really cool place to do that. So knowing that Tyler would be willing to work with me on those things, that's where I was super excited to play with that. So
I mean that's
I just always been into Artificer. Yeah. And anytime me and Tyler talked about the idea behind some of the systems that we've implemented, I just got really excited.
And my mode of operations, more times than not, is that, right? Like what you said about, oh, I don't know how you would feel about changing mid. It's like, no, fuck it. Like, I'd much rather a person enjoy the thing they're playing or like feel a deep connection to the things that they're actually interested in when they're playing a game like this, because that's the only way that you're actually going to engage with the material, you know, like it's so specific to certain mentalities, right? Like so like one of my favorite things is I think we said that, I don't remember if we brought it up during Chelsea's episode last week. I don't think we did, but hearing her talk about character classes in general is really interesting, because more times than not what you'll see is people saying like, oh yeah, you should start with a fighting class because they're easier to understand. And what's really funny is that, like, you know, she's like, no, I understand the druid the most. And that was before, you know, we even got really super into playing. It was just the thing that made the most sense to her. Like, she was like, I don't really get fighting classes. And it's like, that's actually pretty cool. That's very unique. It's an individual thing that doesn't happen very often. And so I guess that's sort of the other thing with me with these characters is like, I like the prospect of, I engage in the world because this character class or race or whatever has unique aspects to it that I want to engage in. And so then that's up to me to then, you know, put it in the world to actually have anything to interact with. And so if I wasn't doing that, it probably wouldn't be as fun if I was like, yeah, you can be an artificer, but like you can't do all these other cool things that we want to do.
Yeah.
You can't make your pangolin a motorcycle.
Or like you have to make an entirely new character to be able to do that. And it's just like,
yeah. Honestly, it's of like my favorite invention of Liam's is definitely the Deja boots. And I can't wait. I can't wait until they come back into play again. But
they might get to now.
I'm really excited. Because that's a really good moment. But like, why a motorcycle? Why the pangolin motorcycle? Like what? Like, I get Deja boots because, like, you know, teleportation, but like, why a motorcycle?
Why not? Here's my answer. Don't you just want a fucking sick ride?
Yeah,
I do, but that's the thing. It's like, I want to know if it's just a sick ride or like he's like, like I'll invent a new thing.
Okay, I was gonna say, that wasn't really a question. It had a lot of heart. It just didn't. So what do you mean? I
tried.
No, what do you mean? Is what I'm trying to get you to be more specific. I'm trying to say, like, so you like.
Well, I mean, like, but why a motorcycle? Why not a four-wheeled car? Why not a boat? Why not a plane? Like, why
not a Superman?
Why not like
I mean, two reasons mainly. The first is we're under attack again. You gotta, the camera cuts off like right here, so you gotta really lob.
You gotta get it in his face, Ame. You gotta like get it in his face.
You gotta get it in frame. That's fine. I've got a good collection going now. Can I braid these?
Keep talking. I'm going to redo my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, fellas.
Okay.
City on Fire. How many of these does she have? She never wears scrunchies.
I mean, I also like the funniest part. Yeah, I was about to say the funniest part was you're like, how many does she have? I'm like, there's gotta be dozens, hundreds. Who knows? She probably has scrunchies she doesn't even know she has.
This is it looks like an unused holder of scrunchies that she's pulling them from at this point. So
yeah,
which is fun stuff.
A stack of scrunchies.
So the reason a motorcycle. There's two main reasons. The first is motorcycles own. And the second is looking at the world. I try and draw my invention conclusions from things in front of me. I don't want to be like, Liam invents a plane, because I can describe mostly how a plane functions. So I will make Liam figure that out. What makes sense to me is there are wheeled vehicles on the planet that travel in the form of the trains and carts. And the trains can move simultaneous of being pulled. So wheeled thing makes sense. And then main form of personal transportation would be a horse. What do you get when you have a wheeled horse? Is a motorcycle.
So your point to that is it was an easier conjecture.
Yes. Making a as opposed to him making a motorcycle, he wanted to turn his pangolin into a kind of automated horse using what seemed like the most efficient way at the time, which is the automotive wheels of the train system. So it's just taking the train system off the tracks and putting it in the shape of a horse. And that's how you get a motorcycle made out of a pangolin.
It's pretty rad. I mean, it's, I don't know if we lost her in the...
I don't know either.
It seems like the face that is permanently on this video, though, through it is just...
vaguely sinister. She gone.
Yeah, it's fine. Our video is gonna get screwed by it, though, because she should have just turned on and off her video. Maybe not have gone through the whole Wi-Fi thing, but we'll see. We'll see if it makes it better. I don't really want to try to fix this too much,
because then you'll have to fix it again when she comes back.
Yeah. Just sit up straight. There we go. Yeah, we can see the top of your head. All right. So let me ask you something else.
Right.
What is it? What to you feels like a satisfying character arc for Liam? What is it that you are looking for the most?
See, I don't know. Part of this comes from the fact that Liam is so much like me. I didn't write any revenge plot into Liam's backstory, and at this point, the things I put into Liam's backstory don't interest him as much as the things he's discovered since then.
Mm-hmm.
So, what he loves to do right now is make incredible things. So I feel like what I want for him is to buy a plot of land in a moderately sized but not overcrowded with artificers city and open a nice shop, use his connections to have incredible wares and get decent prices on the goods he needs and
mm-hmm.
and live out his days working, making things that he enjoys to do.
Where would that even happen? Where do you think he has a plot in mind?
I don't think he does yet. I think the ideas only started to occur to him because starting off he met Nerith, and Nerith was doing this thing that suddenly seemed like really cool to him. He's like, oh, I could do this. Like maybe like he isn't right now the artificer that Nerith is, but like eventually he could settle down with what he's learned and make things. And it wasn't. I think that idea popped into his head then, and then he visited this city that's populated by artificers who all do this for a living. Not all of them have shops, but he went over to Broggs. Actually, he never actually got to go, but he heard of Broggs, and like it's this thing. Like people are doing this thing, and he's been to cities where he hasn't run into huge amounts of artificers. Like right now, I think the main thing in mind is I think he wants to see more of the world. Because right now, I think the best idea for him would probably be like Ulinkar, because it's not overwhelmed. The difficulty there would be like convincing or like proving to the clientele that he's worth it, because they have some of the best craftsmen in the world making things. Yeah. So he would have to put in the work, which he wouldn't be afraid of doing, but finding somewhere where it'd be easier to get a start, where he maybe, I mean, and the benefit of Ulinkar would be that he does know people already at least. So like he could have like at least social connections there. But outside of that, he's only been to like 3 or 4 major cities in the world. 4 major cities of the world. So
right.
I feel like he's not sure yet. I think he wants to see more of the world before settling down. But you know, the idea's in the back of his mind.
Would he ever? Here's an idea from me, is that like, would he ever, like, would he still stay in the mansion to do that?
I think right now he thinks he would. I think like when he's planning at this stage, the idea of leaving the mansion wouldn't have occurred to him.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like gathering resources and things, like he would account that as part of his assets.
Right.
But like that's a big ask. Like, hey, I'm not going to be helping you do your things anymore because I'm running a shop. Do you mind if I still pop by, use your magical teleportation door to?
Well, I mean, you know, in the end, it's the group's mansion, right? Like, it's not one person. One person doesn't own the place.
It's true.
So it's I feel like that's
as it stands, like that would be like that's what he's thinking. That's what's in his brain. As like, yeah, and I'll use this because I'll be able to like the way I'll be able to get my start is by being able to get like goods from wherever I can get them cheapest, or get like high quality goods very quickly, that sort of thing. Like it would be able to give him an edge as a new business, because you know you need one.
Okay, so this is another one that we've been asking, is that it's just like, what's a genre of fantasy, right? Like, what's a fantastical genre that you deeply enjoy either participating in or watching? I mean, because like the biggest thing with like being performers is that like we have the things that we want to be a part of, right? Like but like, what is it about, like, what's the type of story that just like hooks you, and what's the like what what's your most important avenue into a story?
In terms of like worlds, I would love to be able to explore more, and I really enjoy reading when I can find good stories set in them, because it's very difficult. It is. I recently heard it referred to as gas lamp fantasy. Which I think is a delightful phrase for it. And it's
such a good term.
It's more all encompassing than the more commonly known steampunk. But I'd say steampunk is a part of Gaslamp fantasy, but not all, you know.
Gaslamp is very
it's more
specific.
Tells you a time period. It's more like fantasy set in a time period. I want my fantasy
it'll have the fantastical
technology, but I want it to be old technology. Yeah. Like that's kind of where I'm at.
It'll have like a fantastical device or something that's like, oh well, this is a feat of science.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be steampunk where it's like
Dishonored is whale fat punk. Like, and that's nothing. Like that is what it is. But Gaslamp fantasy works way better. I know it's cooler.
Gaslamp fantasy sounds like a band.
If that's fair.
Like,
I thought of a great new band title
Fantasy.
the other day, and it's Bath Snack for Baby, and we're a cover band who does Death Cab for Cutie songs, but as nursery rhymes.
No.
Bath Snack for Baby.
I have a complaint.
I would listen. I'd buy your album.
Glad. First fan.
And first what's the opposite of that? Enemy, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And first guy that's like, I mean, I liked it better on their like first album. Their second album's really derivative.
It's a cover band, but like whatever.
It's a cover band, but it's like super derivative. It's like a cover band of a cover band.
More derivative.
I love the thought that this cover band can do more than one album. That they got a first album so successful that they fucking got a second one of still just covers.
I mean,
still covers.
I mean, Death Cab for Cutie is more than one album, so like, there's a lot to cover there.
You're saying you can make a nursery rhyme out of all of their like their collection?
Listen, Mary's little lamb will fall into the dark. Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, it's a very Miles phrase. They're asking for it. The chat desperately needs it, apparently. Actually, no. It's just Jackie saying when's the EP release, and then Mace saying you can easily do it.
I appreciate the support on both fronts.
It's so good to know that we're supported on these ideas.
Thank you for retweeting one of my tweets, Mace. It's the most likes I've gotten on a tweet in a very long time. I appreciate you lending me your cool for the length of a single tweet. Means a lot to me.
That's all we can ever hope for.
Sounds like you got 3 fans now.
Yeah?
Yeah. You got Ame and Mace as well.
Delightful.
Dude, we should make a cover of a cover band, an all-girl cover of cover band of Bath Snack for Cutie.
Bath Snack for
Bath
Baby.
Snack for Baby, I mean. Sorry, what kind of fan
she's not a true fan. Yeah, she's not a true fan. She doesn't even know the fucking band's name.
She's not a true fan. She's a fucking poser.
Poser.
I don't think I've called anybody a poser since I was like 13 years old.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I put that one in the window.
I mean,
yeah.
An almost 29-year-old woman being like, "You're such a poser," just like seems like a different vibe.
Yeah.
Than a screaming 13-year-old girl.
I was just very glad that none of the last time I went to a Fall Out Boy concert, none of the screaming 13-year-old girls called me a poser. So I can see that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I feel like Miles' Newverse biggest enemy is 13-year-old girls. You're right.
I hate the connotation.
Who are we fucking kidding? Everyone's worst enemy is a 13-year-old girl. No. There's nothing scarier than a 13-year-old girl because they like the thing is girls bully different. Like they'll just find the thing that you are most insecure about,
right?
And like just hit it and just get it.
And men kill you.
I always wear hats around 13-year-old girls.
And men kill you. Yeah, men will just kill you.
There's actually a much better strategy, and it's never be around 13-year-old girls. Unfortunately, if I followed that rule, I wouldn't be able to go to Fall Out Boy concerts. So
also, though, it's kind of just like a good life rule as a 29-year-old male.
Yeah,
just like don't stick around 13-year-olds.
Definitely not chill sessions. Let me.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, don't try to have a chill session with 13-year-old girls as a 29-year-old.
My niece just turned 17, and she's so cool, and she's a really good artist. And I asked her what she was doing for her birthday, and I shit you not, the words out of her mouth was, "Well, I was going to run my first D&D session, but because of quarantine, we can't do it."
That's a bummer.
It was a huge bummer. So I was like,
Bitch,
okay.
We'll hook you up.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, you just let me know if you
get on Discord, man.
Well, I told her that. I was like, we can do it online, and I have tools for you to use. I have access codes that I can send your way for a bunch of shit.
Happen for you.
Yeah, and I was like, and she was like, okay, well, I'll see if everybody's actually just like super interested enough to want to try it online. And
oh, were they not?
No. She hasn't asked yet.
Anyway. Good. You do an escape room whether you wanted to or not for my birthday.
I know. I'll go. But I'm doing it.
Dude, it's gonna be rescheduled till someday. Because it ain't gonna be
when
on
the
my
world
birthday.
comes back.
No, I mean your birthday's in July. We'll be out of quarantine by then.
Possibly, hopefully.
But we might not be able to go to. We might not be able to go to the Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Oh! I thought you said escape room.
Escape room. Yes.
That's what I was talking about.
I know. I don't think we're gonna be out of quarantine by July, folks. I'm going on the record here.
Yeah, no.
I heavily doubt that we won't.
With the shit that's currently happening.
Right. No, with the shit that's currently happening. No, but with the shit that's currently happening,
even gonna be.
But that's the point. States are fucking opening up whether they're getting told to or not. So what I'm saying is, us. Here's my point. Us wanting to be out of quarantine, us like quote unquote being safe enough to do so. Yeah, we can debate that all day long, but the fact remains that the states will reopen. Things will reopen, and as such, the world will be like, well, guess we gotta say that our business is open. Like, it's going to happen.
I'm not putting y'all...
I'm not gonna go outside,
I'm not putting y'all in close quarters rooms that other people have been close quarters all day. Like,
I'm not advocating for us to go. I'm just saying that it's like...
we potentially could, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that it's like, it's probably... I'm not even talking about going to... I was just saying that, like, no, the city will probably be reopened by then. Like, it's people are dumb, and the people who lead us are dumb, so it's probably going to happen. Yeah. So it's like...
Not wrong, unfortunately.
But on a different topic, really my birthday's before his, and it's more important as a thing because of that.
You want to go to an escape room?
No. No, not for my birthday. I want to enjoy my birthday.
What? I'm sorry, you've been to the wrong escape room. Me and Miles.
We're an elite escape room team.
Sure.
Dude, if you are in an escape room with me and Miles, not only will you get through it, you'll have a shit ton of fun.
Yeah. It's a blast and a half.
I found out that I could shoot a gun the last time we did a fake gun, but still a gun. The last time we did an escape room.
That was a great room.
It was such a good room. We have to go back there.
Yeah, someday.
Ami said that we're definitely just going to have a virtual B-Day party where Miles makes everyone watch Naruto with him.
My birthday, my rules.
I mean, listen, I'll watch it with you, and I'll get Parker to come in and be like, yeah, that's the character I voiced.
Please do. That'd be great. I have a celebrity guest at my birthday. It's my friend who was a voice in Naruto.
Shit.
Funny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, Parker's an awesome dude. Like he's in school right now, and so he's back in I can't remember where he is, but it's like the Midwest area.
He's back in fuck.
Yeah. But he's doing good. You know, I'm glad that he got to go out there.
Back in fuck and better than ever.
That was actually the cool thing when I talked to Brian W. Foster when he came into the office, and I was like, yeah, I think you know my friend Parker, and he was like, oh fuck, I do, yeah. And so we ended up talking about him for a little while. I was like, that dude's awesome, and it was just like one of those cute, like random connections, right? Like connection of a connection. Like I worked with Parker at Midtown Comics, and that was like where I knew him, and like that was what was really cool. And he's like a really cool guy, and like he just like he's really fun to talk to, and like he was a really good writer. And like I find myself more and more realizing that like I have a really hard time not meeting cool people, and I don't know what that's about. And it's like I don't know, I'm not like actively always trying to be in the room with cool people, but I just kind of end up doing that. And it makes you like evaluate your own coolness sometimes in a bad way, but also in a good way, where you're like, you know, like you're like, I'm definitely not cool like how this person's cool. Like I don't enter a room and get like a Ame, like it doesn't matter. Like we know that Ame lives in the same room as you, Miles, And every single time that she comes on camera, it is the biggest surprise. It's like, we could have never expected this guest star. And it's like, but the best part is that's her cool. That's her cool. That's us being like, no, like that's Ame. Like, nobody's going to be cooler than that.
Oh shit. Ame's here. It's going to be, there's some deep cool happening in this room.
And it's like, and so then when you think about yourself, it's like, okay, what is it that I bring to the group? What's the coolness factor that I bring to everything? And I have to believe like deep down, like, yeah, like, it's either that I just meet cool people and that's the cool part of me, or it's because I pop quiz. That's probably what makes me super cool. Is I pop quiz Bridget. Like, I like how that was such a delayed response to like, wait, what is he saying? So it makes me realize that neither of you were actually listening to what I was saying for a good minute there.
We were crafting.
Yeah.
No, we were listening. You're cool as divine cool people. We know.
Okay. All right.
What's my pop quiz?
Okay, so this is a pop quiz from last night's episode. So hope you watched.
Oh shit. I didn't.
Great.
I'm sorry.
What is the name? What is the name?
Feed my friend.
No excuses. What is the name of the Dragonborn who helped?
Oh wait, I know this.
Who helped Liam?
I'm only I'm thinking of Uric Whistle, which is on my backstory. It's like Yaxis.
It's close. That's close.
Yexel,
it's you're getting farther away.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Nope, super far now.
Motherfucker.
I mean, you've already got it wrong. But I just want to.
Yaxway.
Again, like, you were close. It was half. It was half and half.
I watched. Yeah.
Dude, I don't care. Like, it's fine. Pop quiz is pop quiz is supposed to be fun, and B, it's not just to make you feel bad. It's just supposed to be dumb shit that, like, if you remembered this thing, it's like,
it's the dumb shit.
Yeah, it is the dumb shit. It's the stupid stuff that, like, I'm up at 2 a.m. writing because I'm like, I don't know, maybe they'll ask the question, and then you guys end up doing that. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's my favorite moment of our D&D thing is when we ask a question and you're like, because it's like, that's like the one thing, like, because that's the thing. It's like, we all know that you're like so details oriented, but like every now and again we throw you, which is like just fun from a player perspective.
I feel like the thing is, though, like,
if you don't mindfuck the DM at least once, I feel like you're not playing it right.
Right, but your guys' mindfucks are like, well, it's like so far off left field. I'm like, how would I have ever had that planned? That's not a question. That's not anything that you actually need to solve this thing. You're like, I don't know.
I think this is the problem with having, like, at least from my perspective, a very panicky, like, I'm a very panicky player. So sometimes when
really? Are you sure about that? Are you sure that you're a panicky player?
The person for her entire solo episode was like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm panicking so badly.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like the panic of it all, I feel like actually kind of makes it a little bit more.
Do you feel like you thrive in those situations? Or do you feel like you're like doing like? Oh
no, I don't thrive. I exclusively fail. But like every now and again it works. You know? Like, I'm trying to be a little more chaotic neutral, but it turns out to be just super chaotic.
Yeah.
Chaotic period.
Chaotic anxious. My real life alignment.
Chaotic anxious. Absolutely. My real life alignment is just like, why isn't my room clean? Oh my god, anything else to do besides that? Right. I can't clean my room because I'm too scared.
Yeah, you know, I've been trying to... Oh, are we on a next stage? Are you about to do glue?
Ooh.
I'm hot gluing pieces.
You're gonna hot glue cardboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how he makes the thingies.
It's pretty much all made out of
right?
hot glued. It's pretty much all just made out of hot glue cardboard, tissue paper, and Mod Podge.
That's my band's name, Hot Glue Cardboard.
Yeah.
Hot glue cardboard. Hi, we're Hot Glue Cardboard.
We're ska. We're a ska band.
Yeah. Oh, it's always ska. Yeah. Hi, we're Hot Glue Cardboard.
Oh.
We're here to get
Chelsea,
and also put together pieces of things.
Chelsea, can you send me that photo as well? I do want to see it. So unbeknownst to you two, Chelsea has been working on a very special photo in the chat.
Oh no.
Of Miles in photoshopped very, very short shorts. Like Daisy Dukes. Like Daisy Dukes.
That's a hard lie for me, dog.
Because Ame was saying that you own no shorts, and it sparked a conversation. And
I said that my favorite cryptid is your knees.
Yeah, Ame, you need to show him. Yeah, he deserves to see the monstrosity. No, not on stream. We don't want to scare the folks at home,
Yeah.
What are your knees like? Like what? Oh.
No one knows.
No one's ever seen them until
That's
now.
Nice.
Until Chelsea.
What? Fine.
See, and now the reason we're not going to show it on stream, but you're trying to anyway.
Oh, no.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Oh,
it's
God. Just happened.
Oh my goodness.
Ame, we were gonna it was gonna draw attention towards our website. I was gonna say, if you want to see this and more content potentially like this in the future, you can visit us at our website. If somebody wants to put the link. Somebody wants to put the link in the chat.
At www.wikiknees.com.
Wikiknees. It's got it. It has to exist.
So yeah. So we'll put that on our website tonight so that it exists in perpetuity.
Sweet glossy JPEG.
Yeah. We'll have a section. We'll have a section dedicated to Stitch and Bitch art or Stitch and Bitch monstrosities. As they have in.
Absolutely. The tiny tragedies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is
it's okay,
art
Ame. I
comes
understand.
out of this shit.
So, speaking of knees, speaking of short shorts, speaking of the daisies of the Dukes.
Right.
It's the time of the... It's the part of the show where we start talking about kinks.
It's that time.
It's that time of the show where we come way down low and we say, "Hey Liam, hey Liam,
what's your kink?
What's your kink, baby?"
Hands.
Hence the fist.
Hands?
Hence the fist, right? Like, yeah, that's.
Oh, cause they, you know what those hands do?
Yeah, it's just, I think it's a fascination it's an extension of his fascination with like creating things.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll look at someone's hands and be like a musician's hands. Like,
yeah.
Yes. An artificer hands, of course. Tinkers, that sort of thing. Like he really pays attention to people's hands.
Yeah.
That's what he's into.
Okay.
Did I know that when I made Liam? No. Did I think of that specifically because I've listened to every episode of this and I knew the question was coming? Yes.
We like when people prepare.
So.
Because I'm not prepped.
Do you think is it like... I'm trying to think.
Is that what like originally drew him towards Nerith?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Was like, damn, that boy's got hands.
Yeah, 100% that was it.
So,
no question.
They got that hands. Is it something there? I'm sorry, I just wanted to say real quick, like, is it something where if they're too soft, like he wants like working hands, like he wants hands that create shit, and so if people don't,
yeah, it's less about like soft or like calloused or like working hands. It's more about like dexterity.
Dexterity.
Okay.
Yeah, like how nimble the hands are.
Oh,
how well they move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
So you were gonna ask something, Bridget?
That's super attractive in real life.
I don't know. I wouldn't fuck a magician. I don't know. because their hands were.
That's because they're magicians. Because they're tricky people. We've been warned against tricky people.
Yeah. What's your question about?
Up in the early 2000s, late 90s,
Nerith.
Tricky. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
story...
Nerith though? You were what? Bridget was going to ask something about Nerith.
Oh yeah, she was going to ask something about Nerith.
Oh,
You were like, speaking of Nerith, when you first.
Yeah, speaking of Nerith and his hands, was that a romantic connection that Liam came up with, or was that a romantic connection that the rest of the group was like, you should fuck him?
I mean, it was Liam's idea,
and it sort of blossomed from there.
It was Liam's idea. I feel like yeah, no, there wasn't this weird, awkward pressure thing until Liam showed interest. I feel like
that's your first mistake, bud.
Yes, it seemed like the thing to do, but it seemed like the thing Liam would have done. There's an interesting guy, and Liam wanted to learn more about his hands. I mean, him. Got him. He knows what he's doing. No, but no, and part of that's from, because we've had bits in the show where people have at times unwantedly shoved characters together, like with little or no problem.
My name's Click Whistle, and I am
I'm guilty of this.
Wait, are you saying you're guilty of Miles? Where have you done it?
No, I have not. I was being Click Whistle. I was in character.
Oh, sorry.
When I was just finishing sentences. It's a bad habit of mine. But I think because it's one thing to. I think it's because Nerith and Liam are the same sex, and it had never come up what Liam was into, but I am not on any part of the homosexual spectrum. That I don't think it would have been pressure at all. I don't think anyone would have drawn that conclusion until it seemed like a thing Liam would want. And then as soon as I did, the floodgates opened, and I couldn't have a conversation with the man without it being freaking
front page news.
I think, and it's nothing to do with. I feel like until I had expressed that I was comfortable with that, no one would have.
No, we've got a good group that they wouldn't have forced something on you that you weren't already doing.
Yeah, that I didn't start. So
yeah,
it was definitely
as long as you started.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I realized that I'm pusher number one.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Click Whistle isn't gonna have any sort of romantic anything probably ever, and so I feel like she lives vicariously through y'all. This is what I'm saying is that Click Whistle ships Narum.
Leith.
I like Narum. Leith is also good.
Right. Right.
Are we getting somewhere? Is that what's going on? Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm working on your eye patch too.
I need to delightful.
Yeah, your eye patch. It's actually surprisingly close to the one that you're working on, which is I'm thrilled about.
Me and Tyler talked about the design beforehand.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of his designs. There's a lot of stuff that we try to go over, and
it's you described this thing as something you have. How do you picture that, or is it this or that sort of thing?
Because there's a lot of things at the end of the day that we we decide what's more science and what has more magic in it, and generally speaking, they usually have more science involved. It's usually some sort of mechanical contraption that has similar properties to magic items and things like that. And then on top of that, artificer alterations are also something that it's that's a very physical change.
Yeah. Which is it's basically me and Tyler talking about the Artificer, it's like the kind of thing we wanted to see more of. Like the mechanics they put into Artificer work great within the rules they've set.
Yeah.
It's very much like, okay, we want to give them gadgets, but we don't have rules for gadgets. So we're going to give them like the magic wand that can do a spell. And I'm like, that's cool, but can we pretend it's a gadget instead? Like they wanted to give him gadgets.
Couldn't make it cool.
Yeah, they wanted to give him gadgets. They don't want to write out like 4 pages on gadgets. So we just decided to do that.
Pretty much, and it was just sort of
kind of where it started, and it snowballed from there. Because then I was like, wait, could we do this then? And Tyler was like, yeah, we could also do this. And I'm like, I love that. So not only have we written new cool things for my specific Artificer class, but we've written new cool things for other Artificer classes that are not currently being played by anyone in our campaign.
Yeah.
So that's
usually my thing too. Right? That's like that's kind of a thing that I generally step into is this sometimes unnecessary evolution of something, and then it like sits there because it's like, well, nobody's actually going to interact with this, but that's fine. I did the work, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of I don't think I have any other like burning questions. You know, like I think my biggest one is maybe like, do you feel like, you've talked about this before, you've talked about like the social sort of limitations you have when playing these games sometimes, where it's sort of like I only have so long before I sort of have like this like social shut off, right, where like you're like I you know, there'll be times where you just start to,
for the folks at home,
I have this many spoons and I've
spoon
sort of
theory
given up the spoons after this much time, and so like I'm still here to play the game, and I'm still having a good time, but like I can only interact for so much. Do you feel like, has there ever been times where like that's happened in the middle of a session where you feel like you wish you had more spoons for a moment?
So I have a super cool method for having no regrets in terms of role play, and that's drinking heavily. So I don't remember.
Right. No, I mean it's potential.
No, I mean that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, I ended up making this character. Like the thing is, I'm way more. Like I can play Liam for a lot longer stretches of time than I have other characters that I've played in the past. I did a one shot with Dwarven Forge. That was a blast. But I was playing this like Cockney Hypebeast style travelogue, and I realized like relatively quickly, like halfway through this session, I'm like, I cannot do this for this long. Like this is a significantly more social person than me, and I can't like improvise playing him for this long without feeling just socially drained. It was like the great thing about Liam is Liam's not like the emotional heart of our group. Liam's not like the support system for those around him. Like there are a few times I've gotten to a moment I'm like I'm too drained to have Liam interact with this, because a lot of the time it's like this isn't Liam's spot. You know, like, oh, they're going through something with like very few times in the game has anyone had beef with Liam. But also very few times does someone come to Liam with their beef with other people. So it makes it a more socially light thing to play.
Yeah.
So not really with Liam. Like in turn, like, yeah, and part of that's that I can play him longer, and the other part's that like I made his role easier in the group. Like when something goes wrong or when they have something to do, he can usually think of a plan. It may not be the best plan, it may not be the plan they go with, but like he'll have a plan to throw on the table.
A plan.
Yeah. And sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. And that's something that's easy for me to do. I can do that all day. And then when Click Whistle's restless and wants to punch something, Liam will suggest they find a fight club, and they still haven't.
I'm so I want a fight club real bad. I'd like one.
Yeah.
It seems like Clickwhistle would run into significantly less. Well, no, I'm sorry. She constantly puts her foot in her mouth.
Yeah.
That's one thing between like Liam and Clickwhistle, which has been like really super fun, is that Clickwhistle, I feel like she has pissed off almost every other member of the party except for Liam. Because most of the time Liam's just like, that's a terrible idea, but I'll help you fix it. And everyone else is like, why? Why did you do it? Why did that happen?
Yeah. Like, I'm here for it. It's fine.
Yeah, like
did you just
my favorite
Thank you.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Liam is his sense of yes and. Cause you know, as I can only ever speak to Clickwhistle, but Clickwhistle is like high chaos. And it's very funny to like it's very good to have one member of the party that she can be like, hey, I got involved in this job that is gonna maybe kill the guy who took your eye. Do you want to help? And he was like, yeah, no, I can totally help you with that.
Here's a couple ideas.
We'll have a here's a couple ideas. Sorry that none of them worked out, but hey.
That also speaks to like the eye moment, right? Like this moment of just like heightened.
Oh God!
Like it was so problematic. It was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is a real injury from a thing that is,
and a really scary injury.
Yeah,
like that was not supposed to. So I guess in that way, like
the rules were there because it could happen.
Yeah,
it was just unlikely.
And I we bring it up a lot, I guess, is the funny thing. It's like it's one of the defining things that have happened to him so far.
The two like biggest like defining moments, negatively defining moments,
yeah,
not even necessarily negative. The two biggest like character defining moments, I would say, are like the nameless Panther reveal and Liam losing his eye. And one, it's because like they're both like fundamentally life changing, and one's like, oh hey, your best friend and constant companion is different than you thought. And the other one is like, oh, this like young strapping like you feels invincible, but like hardy lad has officially like
young dude, yeah,
like crippled his body irreparably, you know?
Yeah.
So it stands out because like it's the kind of thing that you would have in a backstory, like, oh, he lost his eye and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it happened not just in session, but
in
on
real
camera.
Time.
Like we all saw it happen.
Well, and I guess that's my thing. Is like, do you feel like that moment? Did that give you? I guess just trying to kind of tie it back into the analogy. Like, do you feel like that gave you more spoons in that moment? Like, did you feel like I know it's hard to think back, but like, would you say like stuff like that gives you a surge of energy? Because we even saw it in the mayor, right? Like the mayor Stolta, when he goes and like tries to blame you and like you fucking
just get mad.
You just get mad, and it's like it was so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird the things that Liam gets angry at.
I think it's called a destiny because he's a folk hero, man. Like, and that's like at the end of the day, like I don't think you're actively always thinking about it, and that's not a diss. That's more just like I don't think it's like I'm gonna purposely do this. It's more like this just exists
everything he does
as this
legendary.
Character, and so
yeah.
Actually, me and Tyler have had a conversation about Liam a little bit, and like who he is and that sort of thing. And I mentioned like this idea of what he's kind of turned into is like he left home wanting to be a hero, and then he got a taste of it and didn't like it. So he no longer wants to be a hero, but it's also the only thing he knows how to do. I think
he can't
shut it off. Like that's the thing. Like he's not the one telling the group we need to do this to save these people, but we end up in a situation where the people need saving, and he can't not do it. You know?
Yeah.
He wants to stop being a hero, but he can't. And I feel like like one of the things, like there's so many reasons for that. One of them is his air quotes, his obligatory tragic backstory. But like another is like, yeah, like like he's not that lucky. Like he did this thing. He ended up getting his name in lights, air quotes, his name in song, and it's his least favorite thing that's ever happened to him. And then like he goes out and he's literally just trying to like he's doing this thing that's at a festival for fun, and he ends up like permanently crippling his body. Like there's got to be a voice in his head that says like, you keep doing this shit and you're not gonna make it, dude. Like,
cut it out.
Like,
yeah. Stop it.
You're not that lucky. Like,
stop it. Get some help. Like,
yeah, honestly, the luckiest. I think the luckiest person in the party is Panther by far.
Definitely. Panther hasn't had really any lumps yet, besides the fact that
only emotional ones.
I guess there's something else unique to that as well. Like my other favorite part is like one of the things you brought up was this like this idea of there are parts of it that we've done like as the backstory and like this is who they were before they started our story or met each other, and it's like to be able to have moments like that has been really fun, and it's sort of what makes me want to keep doing this. Is just to find those moments more, and it's something where it's like I think also the other thing that's happening is we're getting into a groove story wise and like playing wise, but I think also on top of that, in the story we're getting to parts where it's like there are more decisions that are getting, I don't want to say harder necessarily, but like they're becoming more stringent on you guys not only working together but agreeing with each other, and it's like and it's I think it's just something interesting because it's like we're having to like the characters are finally having to ask each other what matters to them. Because up until this point, like, truthfully, my favorite part of this is that, like, up until this point, you guys have kind of just been hanging out and, like, doing some rando missions with each other. Like, yeah, I guess I'll go help you out. Like, what else do we got to do? I don't have anything else to do. Yeah. And now with this core hall job, even with the Taro, going on, I can't talk too much because, we've got, I mean, we can't say too much because we still have,
we're an episode ahead.
Yeah, we're
leading up to this, like Liam and Philip had one of their first disagreements.
Right.
And it was more of a disagreement between like what me and Chris thought was the best move. And it was a weird feeling. And part of it's like a huge majority of the time Liam doesn't have an opinion. He's just like, are we doing this or not? How? Great, love it. But this is one of the few times I'm like, get this thing just needs to be put away, and I think we can put it away quick, and then we can get to this bigger thing. And then Philip thought we should handle the bigger thing first because it is bigger. Which I understand the logic. I just we disagreed on that point. And then we did what Liam wanted to because Liam's the best. I don't even remember why we ended up doing what Liam wanted to. I don't know.
I think it was just me.
I think Click Whistle had my back, but that's because I was saying we should do Click Whistle's thing first.
Right. I think everybody else also realized that, like, I mean, the truth is, like, behind the curtain, that was kind of your guys' best option. It was like one of these things is going to keep longer than the other. One of these things is going to be a harder thing to do, and Core Hall is the harder, bigger job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we get the smaller job out of the way, then the bigger job can be taken care of with all of our head and our heart.
Yeah.
Right. You guys don't have a looming threat over your head.
Yeah. That was my
like thing. Now I got the thing. Yeah. Yeah. I also as Click Whistle, like it's very interesting, like the Click Whistle Liam like relationship. Because it seems like we keep falling onto the same point. Like, most of the time our arguments are, like, close to the same. which is interesting because Click Whistle makes bad decisions.
It's like we want the same thing for very different reasons, but don't even talk about the reasons. Like, it doesn't even matter.
We're like, we're just gonna, we both of this will justify our ends. So like
we both want to go to point B. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah. It's very interesting, like the group dynamic with that, like, you know, cautious versus less cautious.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I tend to want to be cautious as a person, but I don't think Liam would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, unfortunately, my like real life reaction to that is to be like, let them decide. Like as opposed to like making Liam act less cautiously, I just make Liam want someone else to make the decision, which isn't strong role play. But it's something I'm working on. And like Liam has a personal thing he wants to accomplish right now. So that's something that's not always front of mind for him, which is nice. That's something like that he doesn't always have.
Mm-hmm.
A tangible goal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry.
And sure, it's not going to be easy or necessarily possible, but he's going to try and do it because he told Yogsway he would.
Right.
Yeah.
And like
danged.
His life, like this ethereal idea he doesn't even know the shape of yet, becomes so much easier. But even just like everyday artificing with the group becomes so much easier if you can somehow pull this crazy thing off.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens to be doing the job that we all want to do. So,
pop quiz. Yeah. Miles, where's Nara's shop located?
What's up?
Said pop quiz. Where is Nerith's shop located? Instead.
Is that me?
Yeah, I said Miles.
Sorry, you were glitch again.
Cutting in and out. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and picture it in my head. I'm actually not physically capable of doing this. I don't remember the name of the neighborhood. Is it like a southeast area? No?
It's close.
All right.
It's close.
Southwest.
It's
south.
Yeah.
I would love, and this is I'm gonna blame you for this. If there was like a drawn out map that I could like look at, I would probably be able to retain the
so what you're blaming me,
picture.
You're blaming me for it because what you want is for me to do all the work.
Yeah. If there was like a well-designed map with labels, I would probably be able to retain the information better.
And like, if you could color code it and like make sure that there's like an actual key to like the thing, and like also every single detail that you've ever thought of or that we will ever think of ever.
Bridget, do you want to
finish out?
Bridget, you want to finish out the Lennistad city that you've been working on for like 3 months?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, wait, sure.
Oh,
great. God. Either of you want to finish the
about Harrow.
Yeah, how's Harrow going? Is that going well? Awesome. Awesome. You know what? I'm super excited for Speed Kings as well. I'm super excited for Speed Kings.
There's old Jimothy who lives on the outskirts of town, and he's
oh shit!
And he thinks that the local law enforcement doesn't know about him.
Yeah,
they totally do though.
Right?
They totally do, and they let him work because they buy the moonshine.
Yeah,
but he's so convinced that he's like
super under. He's like super under the radar. Like he's done everything right. Old Jimothy. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
There's a mayor that I had named once who is the mayor head, but his daughter actually runs the town. Everyone assumes when he gets old and dies, his daughter will take over as mayor because he's been in the family for a while. But she's really already running the show now. Those are the only 2 facts that I figured out about Harrow so far. And neither of those things are on the list of facts you told me to figure out. So.
And that's perfect. That's great. That's fine.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean...
I made a friend for Click Whistle. What's his name?
Yeah, that's about the same. That's about the same level of what fucking Miles is done. That's like the exact same thing that he did. I made a person that I get to interact with. Like, she's probably childhood friends with Liam, this woman who runs the town.
Wait, I forget it. I really liked him because he had a candy store and an artillery store. Or an armory.
His name is Ivor.
Shit, what's his name? Ivor! Yeah, Ivor's candy shop.
Tyler, remembering the name of this person that you invented is the exact tone of this entire story.
It's very on brand.
Yeah.
It's fully on brand.
Also, so let's, if we want to talk about...
I don't retain information good.
If we want to talk about level of work that goes into this and you needing a map...
I'm not saying I need a map. I'm just saying until I have one...
you were close. It was southwest. It was southwest, not southeast. Okay. The college is in the west part of town. I will
get to Nerith will be Liam goes to Nerith.
Yeah,
that's how I will say it.
Yeah.
Until I have a map, which is fine because it functions perfectly well.
Yeah, in game it doesn't matter. Maps in game are funny because it's just like it's this weird thing where it's like if you're gonna do it. I wonder what your purpose with it is other than it look cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think like I was hoping to have had one done and then we got into, other stuff for the city of Taro. Right? And then we got into quarantine and all these other things. I was kind of thinking like, oh, that could be cool. And then just put places on the map that you guys would be like, I guess I want to go there. I want to check that out. Right? Like, that would be the intention of a map. Is handing it to a person and saying that you get to check this out. And then that's like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to check that out. But for a city that you guys go to regularly where you guys are just kind of like hanging about, making a map for it is sort of just like, yeah, this is just a cosmetic thing that like helps you guys maybe contextualize some stuff. And so it's like in the list of priorities, it usually goes towards the bottom, mainly just because like we can settle in conversation. We can settle it with like, I want to find this kind of a place, and I can say, yeah, it exists in this part of town, or it doesn't, or I'm going to this place. Great, I know where that is. I can just tell you that's like, and that's why I usually repeat it every time. I'm like, great, you head towards the north, towards the garrison, right? Like that's where the garrison. Like it's why I repeat all that shit all the time. It's just because it's like it's the necessary part of the information. Nerith resides in the west part of the city. Slightly southwest, right? Like, so there's a main road that goes northeast, south, west. The western road goes directly to the college. And so about a third of the way down that street from the center spire, you head down like 10 minutes from the main street south, and that's where Nerith is.
Okay.
Nerith's metallurgy.
My favorite thing is
sweet
and I can only think of one example of this actually, but I'm sure it's happened before, where like you describe something very similar to how you just did, and sometimes like the players, us in our notes, will try and draw maps.
Yeah.
And the best thing ever is you'll describe something, we'll all draw out the map of it, and if you look at 3 players' maps, you will see it is drawn entirely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy different, which is
it's never been the same. Yeah,
which doesn't matter in any actuality, but it makes my brain more confused because I'm using everyone else's notes anyway because I'm bad at notes. And I've seen 3 versions of this, and the version that I thought it would be doesn't look like any of them, and I'm like, you are all wrong. I am probably also wrong. And then we spend a half hour like trying to get this clarified on stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
so how does the ring system work in Ulankar?
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
Is it
I pictured it like Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's going down.
But it gets smaller as it goes down. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Like a funnel.
Great. And I love it, like that functions, but we had a half-hour conversation about it.
Right.
As opposed to
I mean, that's also partially me, right? Like, that's me
yeah.
not explaining it correctly the first time.
Which, you know.
But it's hard to do. Like, that's the thing. It's like, that's one thing about, like, DMing, which is, like, such a huge responsibility, is that it's, like, your world. And if, like, and the only way to communicate it is through you describing it. So, like, and this is just, like, a human thing across the board. But, like, sometimes it's hard to translate brain into, like, words, which is, like, why it gets confusing with maps. I feel like.
It's the benefit of doing a one-shot.
What about one shot? Sorry. Oh, shit. Mike ran out. Uh-oh. Come on. Yeah, I know. There we go.
Your sound gone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got it back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, guys. It something happened with my cord, so it just.
What's happening?
It's fine. We're back.
No.
We've
lost Tyler.
Did we lose Tyler? Oh, is Bridget's sound gone on the stream as well?
Is mine gone?
No, I think you guys should be back.
You can hear Bridget and me?
Yeah.
Can you hear Tyler?
Hey. Oh no, Tyler.
No, I should be back. I'm
Tyler,
good.
Oh, he's back. Great.
Now you're back.
I was there the whole time. You guys, I lost your guys' audio, and then so anyway.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Wow, they having a bang up tech
they missed some of sorry. They kind of missed that. What were you guys talking about? Because I was trying to fix that and I couldn't hear you either.
No worries. The thing about doing a one shot in a city that you've never been to or you're never going back to is that you can it matters so much less. I pretty much let you guys make up the layout of Sleuthopia, or I made it up entirely on the fly. I had 5 locations, and I put them wherever sounded funny at the time. Whereas, if you have a consistent world, that stuff can either never matter or it can matter a lot instantly. So it's a very different ball game that you're playing.
Over here with your maps.
With the maps. I'm the map. I'm the map.
Yeah. See, this is why I wish I had 2 displays. This would have been
smoother. We need to know.
I think my other thing with it too is that it's just I just want it to matter, you know? I want a city's layout to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just want it to make sure that it's interesting to you, right? The player. I shouldn't put in too much work on this thing for you guys to never care what the city's layout is.
Yeah.
Having said that, if I can make maps faster, maybe that would change my mind, right? Maybe that would be a different feel. That would be something where it's I have more of a reason to make stuff like that happen.
That makes sense. Yeah. And that's part of it. So much of what matters to the player, even if they're really into the idea of something, gun to your head, what matters is things that affect gameplay, honestly. And how do you make the layout of a city matter in terms of the game's content?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are ways, but how many of them actually make the game better for it? I love the idea of it, but unless you have unless you have like battle mats of it and you're doing encounters on them regularly, or like
I feel like
unless you have like delivery missions and you need to know the layout to like it would be really difficult to make it matter in terms of like gameplay.
Yeah, or matter more consistently.
Yeah.
I think for me it's the idea that it's like, well, that's great for an urban campaign. If you're trying to do a campaign that's basically set all in one city, and like your characters aren't going out into the wilderness very often, like it's this big huge city and it's a lot more like noir in that way, right? Where it's like we're not, if we're going outside the city walls, it's like to the forest that's over there, or like to the things that are immediate vicinity. We're not gonna go 300 miles to the east just to go to some random city to help it out.
Yeah, and then like knowing the layout could be like as simple as like, oh, there was an attack on this in this section, and we know that the people in these parts are vying for that territory. So like, just that information could be useful. But like,
again, and that could be a really fun campaign, but it feels like that's a campaign. Like it feel like if you guys are gonna go back into Taro, there's gangs there. There's things that like have territory. There's things to experience, but like how long you go experience that is sort of like hard to say.
When we got a core hall,
and there's like because it's the macro versus the micro, and so like a city is like a micro thing where it's like you can have, if you want to focus in on this, like you gotta fucking like focus heavily on a bunch of things. But I don't know, I guess
that's interesting. What do you guys generally prefer in terms of like storytelling settings, like a macro setting or a micro setting?
Oh, it does depend,
because I know in a second.
Well, what was your answer, if you know?
Micro. It's the reason I like the first episode of Sherlock more than any other one, because like it takes place in London, but it feels like it takes place in like a 3-block area. Like, and it feels like you have Sherlock with his knowledge of this area, and that's part of the thing. Like, it feels like this such like Sherlock knows the police chief who like needs his help on a specific case, and it's not these like broad like worldwide network of criminals, blah blah blah,
of everybody.
And I'm like, cool, yes, I get the like I can enjoy that. I do enjoy that regularly, but like it's why my favorite part of Star Wars is episode 4 and episode 1, where they're on Tatooine, and the thing that matters most is like the politics in this small city on this shitty planet in the back end of the universe. It's why I like Firefly, because they're traveling this whole system, and the politics are always
it only takes place. Yeah.
So I personally enjoy micro more.
I think I'm also in your camp, because I fucking love a bottle episode. Like Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
If there's like a fucking murder on a ship. Like if there's,
Murder on the Ocean Express.
Yep.
Merchant on the Ocean. Murder on the Ocean Express, yes. Yeah, like I think bottle episodes are so interesting because like you can delve a lot more into the people, it seems. At least for me, because like that's my favorite thing is when long lost secrets come out into the light. Like that's my favorite, when it's just like, oh, Lady Braxbury had an illegitimate child back 50 years ago, and now that's me. And like it's just it seems like the twists are so much twistier when like you only you're focused in on like one group of people in one setting. So yeah, I think I'm in micro camp as well. I'm a bottle episode girl. How about you, Tyler?
I suppose that I mean, as an indication of the world I made for you guys to play in, I think I'm I guess I'm a macro guy. I'm a
macro fella.
Yeah. I guess it's also the desire to be a showrunner too that like kind of makes that happen, where it's like it's funny that you said that like I focus on the details, and I'm like, well, I guess like I get to areas where I'm just like, yeah, I would like to figure this out more, and I want to like hammer it down, and because I know you guys are going there, but like, or because I know this is something that you guys can experience and like have a really good time with. But on the whole, I probably think more of like bigger concepts to like have you guys experience or go to, or sometimes I'm like, I don't need to get to the nitty gritty of how every function, like every part of this functions. And I guess that's not really the same thing as what you guys are, like that's game design, right? Like I'm talking about game design, but like
right.
In stories, it's weird. I flux between the two of them. Like I want microcosms, but I want a macro environment. I want to be a part of something bigger, but I want the smaller parts of it to be developed.
That's fair, and I get that too. Yeah. And the things like I enjoy some great like macrocosm style stories, like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's kind of my best example of the idea I'm trying to present. It's a macro world. It's big. It's like there's so many things in it, and there's so many things that those characters get to go and experience. But the microcosm of that is that small group, is the Avatar's little band. Because he's the Avatar, he has a very focused, singular experience, a very individual experience, right? Like, the only other people who are going to have the exact same experience as him are his past lives.
And even like, they were the Avatar, but in an entirely different time.
It's different. It's different. It's always different. But it's like, they're going to have the same situation where it's like, I had to travel the world. And I guess that's my point, is that like what I love about that story, about that opportunity is I would put it up a little bit more. Where you had it, you should probably have it the string, right? Like that it should go above your other eyebrow.
Yeah, across the forehead here.
Exactly.
Because then you can
a little
do
bit
it
more.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have
I'm running into hat, Bill.
No, I get you. No. That's all I meant was like that's the position it should probably run into. That was all. So yeah, I think that's
as an outside eye.
I think that's my point. Is that it's like I'd rather have, and it's kind of what we're doing with our story, right? Like it's what we're doing with our world. It's a macro world. It's big, but we're having this little micro story involved. It's why I've set it up the way I have in terms of like how important you guys are. It's why Daphne got mad at you and stopped talking to you, right? It's like, it's the idea of consequences. I'm so sad about that. It's the idea of consequences because
we live in this microcosm of Sestet, really.
Well, of a huge world.
Well, I mean, no, even take it a step further. You guys live in a microcosm of your own little group, of your own information, of your own decisions. And so when you go and affect other people's worlds because of it, and you say, well, we're right, we're the ones who are doing the right thing, it's like, yeah, for you. And I guess that was like, yeah, and that was like kind of, that's been the fun thing of like trying to discover that. And I guess that's why I like what I said, right? Like, that's why I like Avatar. That's why I like making things like that. That's kind of why a lot of my TV shows or like the things I'm writing have that sort of feel of like, I'd like a bigger concept here so that we can exist in a place that has options, and but we have a very focused character like storytelling, right? Like, we have character focused storytelling, and so it's one of those things where like it talks about certain things because of that.
Yeah, I do love the idea of that. It's why I grew up always wanting something like the Marvel television show universe to exist, and then it existed and I didn't pay any attention to it, which was a huge bummer because I've literally always wanted something like that, like a series of several different TV shows taking place in the same universe, like simultaneously, like, and
interesting.
And then it happened, and I'm like, oh, but not this one. Like,
yeah, like I guess that's the other thing, right? Is like I grew up reading like X-Men and Spider-Man, and so like I grew up reading like DC and Marvel. Yeah, exactly. That's what comic books are, that idea where it's like this one character exists in this bigger world. And they have their own individual stories. They have their own individual things that need to go on and happen. It's why I still enjoy Batman, and I get that everybody else thinks they're super cool because they're like, he's just a guy with gadgets. He sucks. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're funny. Like Batwoman is objectively better, so go read Batwoman then. Is the thing that like I kept coming back to that character, and he's like one of my favorite characters to read, mainly because I was interested in reading about the different ways that this guy could like have to go up against adversity and like I don't know. I suppose that's my thing. Is like I would much rather read stories that ask you to, or I would rather experience entertainment, or like experience stories that ask you to challenge your own viewpoint. Then have to watch a lot of stuff that like strictly, I don't know, says the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I feel like also it takes a microcosm world to have a character like befriend the police chief and then have that matter and be relevant.
Yeah.
You know, in a macrocosm, it's the president, and that story sucks. Like, but like. Yeah. Like when like in a microcosm story, like you like weird relationships can pay off in such a more satisfying way.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like Doctor Who, the thing I think I love about it is it does macrocosm, but it pretends it's in a microcosm. So like they'll have the Doctor like befriend the future Queen of England from the year 3000, and then they'll treat that like Batman talking to Commissioner Gordon a season later. And you're like, this is the silliest thing I've ever seen. But because they seem to believe it's all happening in this microcosm, it is, and I love it. You know?
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's like, it's just the thing where like, I just want, I think, like, and to your point, Bridget, like, yeah, bottle episodes are really nice. And I do agree that like, there's something really, it's explorative of one idea. And that's kind of what's fun. And I don't mean that as a diss. I do mean that in a positive way. It's like, this is the way, like, this is how you're going to be able to, like, if you want to talk about one subject and one subject only, do it this way. Because you're going to have an easier time, like, you're going to have a better time. But I think, I just started watching Midnight Gospel, and I think that's something.
I love Midnight Gospel.
It's been very good so far.
We're gonna see it soon.
Holy shit, you have to watch it.
It's very good so far.
It's so good.
But what I was gonna say was that
it's one of the best done shows I've seen.
Looking forward to it.
But basically, all I was going to say was that it's like it kind of inhabits a similar, the same idea, a different answer to what I was saying before of like macrocosm, microcosm story, where, you know, we have to understand bigger concepts. We have to understand the world, and we are asked to, I guess this is how I think about it, right? Like even in relation to Avatar, it's like, you have to just like go with the flow and understand that this world is bigger than this one event. That like there are a bunch of other things going on that you're not going to see, that you aren't going to experience, and that's the macro. And the micro is you're following this character. Whereas in like a strictly microcosm thing, it's like Murder on the Orient Express is, we want to follow Henry Poirot, or Hercule Poirot, and
I was like,
he's going to solve this thing. That's who we're experiencing. It's only going to be self-contained. We're not going to talk about the wars that are going on at the same time. We're not going to be talking about the world at large, really. All we're talking about is this one little case. And that's what's fun about it, is because it's like, cool, I have a singular focus. But in this like macro/micro is that it's like, you are going to experience very specific conversations that, because of the larger macro that is involved, you are able to experience them, right? Like, because we have set up the world to function in this way, you get to have these smaller moments because of it. You get to have these smaller conversations and these meaningful conversations, things that like extrapolate on ideas for just an episode. And it's like, I kind of enjoy that. I think that's at the end of the day what I love to see the most. And Miles, I need to talk to you about something after this call.
Okay. I feel like that's one of the reasons that none of this is about D&D. One of the reasons that I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is stronger than Korra and Dragon Prince is it pulls off that one specific thing better than the other two. And I enjoy the other two.
Yeah.
I just don't think either of them did that one thing that the Avatar: The Last Airbender did that appeals to a lot of people, but very specifically me. Because like that idea of the microcosm that like is affected by a macrocosm. Like I said, like it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it's also Firefly. Like Firefly is that. And then you have like because you have shows that are like true microcosms, like Community, and I love that as well. But like the idea of being able to thread this needle of like you care about these people who are in this bigger world, but you care about these people is such a cool thing to me specifically. And I think that's why I enjoy that better than its predecessors.
That's exactly right. I mean, like that's the thing. Is it like none of that is like is any of these descriptions are like this is what I enjoy.
Yeah. It's like I liked Korra. I've really enjoyed Dragon Prince, but neither of them are The Last Airbender to me. And I think having had this conversation, I can say it's because I enjoy this specific thing Avatar pulled off. Like I've loved every story that I've seen that does that well. So
yeah. Well,
do you guys want to know like how big Liam's D is, or?
Absolutely.
Actually, they probably do now. After you bring it up, they're probably
going to
say, yeah.
I just realized we haven't talked about D&D for a little bit, and
So you got nervous, like that isn't the show?
I get.
It's called Stitch and Bitch, buddy. Like I don't like.
No, I know.
We're talking about story. We're talking about.
I was just going to like re-aim the conversation, but also get that.
So you said. So you. Which Which of the two Ds do you think Liam has?
Yeah, is it D?
Is it a dungeon or is it a dragon?
D.
Yeah.
Is it a dragon?
We know he does not have a dragon. He'd have shown it off by now.
Right.
He can't keep a secret.
Okay.
Might have a dungeon now.
Also,
he doesn't have a dungeon.
It's concave.
He's looking for an invite to one if anyone's asking.
Love it.
I'm trying to
loving if someone would explore.
Is there a way that we can say Dungeons or Dragons is basically a terminology, like it's like street slang for
which one's a D?
Top or bottom? So like a dungeon is a bottom and a dragon is a top.
That makes I love that so much.
All right.
I'm not cool enough to coin slang, so I can't say how this would happen.
Right.
But is May still in the audience?
No, she left a little while ago.
Then we're SOL. Then we're SOL.
All right, I'll send her a message about it. Be like
cool.
What we discovered and what we found out.
So she can work her magic.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be right back. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Right. Well,
keep talking amongst yourselves.
Cool. Now we can talk shit.
Yeah, I mean, what was really funny was I was actually gonna start to like end the show.
That makes sense. It's like been that amount of time, huh?
And so she's like, "I'll take 2 seconds to go use the bathroom." Probably, she's probably peeing. Like it's
That's
Bridget. It's she's probably peeing.
So those of you out there who are unfamiliar with me, start watching The Natural Ones because I'm on that every single week.
Right.
You know. But if you want to see more of this wonderful content, I make these boxes. I don't sell them anywhere, but if you find me on Twitter and ask me about it, maybe I'll make you one. Mm-hmm. And also I stream video games, specifically virtual reality, because if my talking about Liam did not cue you in, I like gadgets and gizmos and technology. And so I'm a big VR head. I'm going to be streaming tonight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to be streaming tonight. I'll have to show off this thing, but I'll wait till Bridget's back.
Oh wait, that's what I was going to say. You are streaming tonight, right?
Yeah. I'm playing a brand new game. So this game is not even out yet. If you want to get a hold of this game, you have to. You can find it on Kickstarter. Ancient Dungeons VR. Ancient Dungeons VR. It's a like voxel style dungeon crawler roguelike, and it's still in alpha, but you can join their Discord and you can just download a copy of the game, and it runs on Steam VR. So I'm going to be playing that tonight. What's extra cool, the reason you guys should all watch this stream tonight is because I was on their Discord, and I mentioned I'd be playing the game with my cool Catwalk locomotion system. And the developer of the game was like, hey, if I'm on the computer, I'll stop by, so let me know. So I might have the actual developer of the game in chat while I am playing this game, which should make an interesting stream experience. So you guys should stop by. The Twitch for that is Twisted Reality ODT, because the company I stream for, Twisted Reality, sells omnidirectional treadmills. I'm not using one of those tonight. I'm using an at-home system called the Cat Loco, where you have sensors on your feet. But it does the same thing, basically. So Twisted Reality ODT. And I'll be starting to stream at 10 Eastern.
Woo!
Yeah. Better.
Yeah. We've started the wrap up, Bridget. We're going to show off our crafts.
Oh.
I'm going to see if you guys can see any of the details on this. So I've coated it in Kleenex and Mod Podge, and that's how I get like the texture and have it like sealed in. And then I'm gonna paint it copper, and I'm going to patina it lightly because I think patinaed copper looks beautiful. Like, check out this punk.
Well,
like,
it also goes to the concept of like what we talked about in terms of lodestones and in general, right? Like it's like,
they break down stuff.
Yeah. So.
Like your brain. Yeah. And I got this. Yeah. I got this far.
Delightful.
On the Liam.
Love the beard.
It's a whole you. This beard was a pain in the ass, but I'm
All right,
glad
I'll shave it. It's fine. I'll shave it. It's cool.
Shave it. Yeah. Well, no, actually, don't shave it.
Because you've already done it.
You have to keep it forever now, and it has to look exactly like this.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
You don't give me orders. No one gives me orders but Ame. And she's right over there.
True. Because she's the boss. Ame could give any of us orders.
It made me think of...
she was listening or not. She's not going to respond to me. She's going to respond in the chat.
Yeah.
And it's going to be devastating, and I'll never know. So that's...
she said, oh God, forever beard.
Right, yeah. It's itchy. She doesn't like that.
God.
It's itchy.
She says, I am not a boss.
That is a thing that no one really ever talks about is when
are you
girls
sure
kiss guys with
are you
beards?
sure that no one talks about it?
The problem is that I look better with a beard. So it's like, all right, so I can either enjoy the act of kissing Miles, or I can like look at him and actually want to kiss Miles. You only get one. You only get one.
Yeah, it's the motivation to kiss or a comfortable kiss.
Pleasant experience.
Yeah.
It's fun because it's like that usual thing.
True.
Like you look at a guy and you're like, I want to kiss him, and he's probably a bad kisser. I'm both in one. I'm either someone you want to kiss who's bad at it, or someone you don't want to kiss who's great at it. I get to be both, but not at the same time.
I'll always be your beard, babe.
Oh, thanks, babe. Thanks.
Aww, that's real love.
Jinx,
that's
you owe me a
love
soda.
right there. Yay!
Wait, you're into owing him a soda?
No, I'm just glad that we said it at the same time.
Yeah.
I just love when simultaneous jokes happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're a factory of those.
I'm also on a significant delay, I'm realizing, because
yes,
all the things that I just did, you did about a second and a half later than me.
Yep.
Delightful.
I was like, oh.
It's pretty great.
Pretty soon my internet will work. God damn it. I'll make it happen.
Someday.
Well, also someday we won't have to do this remote.
Seriously, it would be much better if we were all in person. It would be a lot more fun.
Just want to see how my maze clasp works. Just shut it off. Just turn it off now.
Yeah.
So there's a piece
I'm gonna go through all my books.
And so if you have this piece in the right part, so this, I haven't used this recently. So this, if he slides down to this part of the eye over here, then this can open, and then the book opens, and it's got a collapsible dice tower.
Yeah.
That's the good shit. Like that is a beautiful thing when it just like opens and everything folds out and
Viewers, for the low price of $100 million, I'm working on the pricing still.
You know, the other thing this show makes me want to do is just like in the actual stream, even when we're filming, you know, all together in the same room, just like not having a camera on me, and all I am is just a voice. All I am is just a just a voice.
Is it because you're sensitive because someone said your hair was stupid? Because it's not. It's beautiful hair.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Ame said that my hair was stupid.
Miles?
No, it was Ame.
I'm
fairly certain it was Ame who started the hair is stupid thing.
I think someone told her to. I think Jackie told her to say that your hair is stupid.
I can't. No,
she's
I can't.
typing something in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure she's.
I would commit
feverishly typing
for your hair. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not how crimes or hair works.
This is the thing, Tyler. But then we would miss all of the moments where you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like all the like, I mean, you can certainly try. And like we need those facial expressions.
Yeah.
That's how we know we're doing the D&D right.
I love you guys both very, very much.
We're stopping. We're ending.
My aforementioned stream, I need to set up for it. So
well, I hope you all enjoy, everybody. And also, in the interim time in between this hour and next hour, where Miles will be doing, go ahead and hop on over to Mojo Hamster Live. Our good old buddy Hamster is getting the squad together.
Sick.
They're doing sort of a test run of some stuff on stream. So go ahead and check him out. He's a good guy.
Hamster forever. He taught us how to paint minis.
And button T. Bye.